All right, today's date is July 15th, 2015, and the time is approximately 11:25 a.m., and we are on the record. Would the court reporter please swear in the witness?
I ask you to raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you God?
I do.
There. Hello, Dr. Assevero. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Good. Would you state and spell your full name, please, sir?
Michael, M-I-C-H-A-E-L.
Yes, sir.
Assevero, A, S as in Sam, S again, E as in Edward, V as in Victor, E as in Edward, R as in Ralph, O as in Oscar.
Thank you. And your middle name?
Lawrence, L.
U or W?
Oh, L-A-W-R-E-N-C-E.
Thank you. And where do you live?
429 Grant Street.
It's here in Atlanta.
Yes,
It's in Fulton County.
yes.
Apartment or a
House,
home?
house.
Do you live anywhere other than 429 Grant Street?
No.
And how are you employed currently?
I'm driving every now and then with Uber and
Okay.
looking for a job.
Okay. Thank you. When was the last time you did any medical work?
I was working in some offices part-time a year or two ago.
Okay. So this is what, July 2015, so that would have been 2013, 14?
Yeah, 13, 14.
And where were you working in 2013, 14?
In a part-time in a couple offices. One was a Hispanic clinic, and the other, I forgot this. I'm terrible with names. It's a OBGYN in town.
Yes, sir. It's a Clinica de la Mama?
No,
Oh, okay.
no.
What was the name of it?
Clinica Union.
Clinica.
Union
All right.
on Beaufort Highway.
And who did you work with there at Clinica Union?
No one else.
Okay. Who owns Clinica Union?
His first name is Mario. I can't tell you his last name right
All right.
now.
And who was your immediate supervisor there at Clinica Union?
I didn't have a supervisor.
Okay. How many physicians were there?
They had different physicians in different practices. They had a internist and another GP.
Okay. And you were doing OBGYN
Yeah,
and delivering babies?
yeah.
Okay. And you were there in 2013, 14? Is that right?
13. Yeah.
All right. And you left. Why?
When I had this other situation,
Yes, sir.
where I was working part-time at a pain clinic.
Okay. What was the name of the pain clinic?
Southern Health Management.
And who owned that pain clinic?
I can't remember.
Okay. And by the situation, you mean you were arrested?
Hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
And charged with a crime?
No,
Okay.
I wasn't. I was never indicted,
Okay.
and I received a letter after 2.5 years saying that I wasn't going to be prosecuted and they were going to expunge my record.
Okay. So that's resolved at this
Yes,
point. 2.5 years, you received a letter from the AUSA
from the DA
DA.
in DeKalb County.
Okay. And a letter that your record would be expunged, is that right?
Right,
And that's been resolved, right?
right.
Did you enter into any sort of a plea agreement or agreement where you agreed to do anything? Okay.
Nope.
And since, sorry.
Just answer out loud.
Okay.
Oh no.
All right. And I may talk a little louder, may help you too.
Okay.
And then the Clinica Union was after the disposition of the situation regarding the pain clinic of Southern Health Management.
That in part-time at another OB clinic.
Okay, what's the name of that clinic?
I don't remember, I can't say the doctor's name off the top of my head.
Okay. Do you know where that was?
In off of Cascade.
Okay. Did you know someone to get the work at Clinica Union? Did you know somebody there?
I met with the owner, Mario.
Okay. But you didn't know him before you went to work with him at that time, right?
No, he knew of me.
Okay.
So he called me.
Got it. Okay. And you left there because?
Because of that situation with the pain clinic.
Okay. When did you start with Clinica Union, if you remember? Year and month?
I don't remember because at the time I was working with Life Cycle.
Okay.
And the pain clinic, and Saturdays I was working with Clinica Union.
Okay.
And that was I believe it was I know it was in 2012.
Okay.
Early 13.
All right. So in 2012 and early 13, you were working at Life Cycle and the pain clinic, and on Saturdays at Clinica Union. True.
Yeah.
And you left Life Cycle in 2012, is that right?
Yeah.
And why did you leave Life Cycle?
For the same reason.
Okay. And same for any other reason?
No, yeah, actually I got busier at the other two clinics, Clinica Union and the pain clinic.
Okay.
So that was the other reason.
All right. All right. And prior to Life Cycle, you worked at Clinica de la Mama, true?
Yes.
And you worked at Clinica de la Mama from when to when?
2000 to 2006 and a half, 2007.
Okay. So roughly 2000 to 2007,
Right.
true? And when you were at Clinica de la Mama, you delivered babies, is that right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And you delivered those babies at Tennett's South Fulton Medical Center?
Objection
No.
form. I'm going to object to this entire line of questioning because it's neither relevant to any of the pending claims or the subject matter of this litigation. It's neither reasonably calculated to lead to the discovery of admissible evidence.
Okay. Where did you deliver babies when you worked at Clinica de la Mama from 2000 to 2007?
Same objections.
Let me answer.
North Fulton.
Okay. That's Tennett's North Fulton Hospital, true?
Yes.
Objection form.
What's the basis for your objection?
Now, this entire line of questioning is neither relevant to any of the pending claims or the subject matter of this litigation. It's not reasonably calculated to lead to the discovery of admissible evidence. It's attempting to investigate claims that have nothing to do with this medical malpractice action, and it's harassing the witness and trying to intimidate the witness.
I was going to give him another question or two since he was going through background, but I can join now. But you know, insofar as you're going through his background and where he worked, and you're doing that, that's fine. But anything beyond that, I'm going to object and instruct him not to answer. And if you want to take it up with Judge Ross, you can. But as far as it was background, I was still letting him go.
Did you deliver babies when you were at Clinica de la Mama from 2000 to 2007 at any hospital other than Tennett's North Fulton Hospital?
Objection to form. Same reasons.
No.
Okay. So you delivered all of your babies when you were at Clinica de la Mama from 2000 to 2007 at Tenants North Fulton Hospital? True?
Objection.
Objection of form.
Asked and answered.
Same objections, and to the extent that counsel is trying to intimidate the witness and suggest any criminal wrongdoing, I object.
Give me an answer.
No, don't answer.
You refusing to answer that question?
I have counsel. Right?
Okay. And you're refusing to answer that question on the advice of counsel, true?
On the advice of counsel.
Okay. When you were at Clinica de la Mama, did you participate in an agreement between Clinica de la Mama and anyone at Tenant that required physicians to deliver babies at Tenant South Fulton Medical Center?
Same objections.
Same objection.
You may answer.
Can I? I also need to make this other.
No, we're gonna, if
objection.
you've got an objection, make it. We're not gonna.
Well, this is my objection. This line of questioning is not relevant to any of the pending claims, nor is it reasonably calculated to lead to the discovery of admissible evidence. I believe this line of questioning is suggestive of Dr. Assevero participating in some criminal wrongdoing, and I find that very objectionable because it's harassing the witness and intimidating the witness.
And not true because he hasn't. So, but
Did you read back my question, please, ma'am?
Yep.
you don't have to answer.
Okay.
I mean, if you feel some.
Can you read it back, please? Thank you.
When you were at Clinica de la Mama, did you participate in an agreement between Clinica de la Mama and anyone at Tenet that required physicians to deliver babies at Tenet's South Fulton Medical Center?
North
Same
Fulton.
objections.
Same. We're just not going to get into this whole thing. If he wants to ask about the medical care that was given in this case, then he's free to, and everything else we can take up with the
So
judge.
you're refusing to answer that question?
I'm being advised by counsel.
Okay. And you're refusing to answer the question on advice of counsel, true?
You can say yes.
Yes.
Okay.
It's on me, not on you. You're not doing anything wrong. You haven't done anything wrong.
Can I say that every doctor that's doing a large volume delivers as close as possible to where they work and live?
Yes, sir. Okay.
Sure.
And do you speak Spanish?
Okay. Only a little bit.
Okay. Did you ever speak to Hispanic patients about their care in Spanish?
Somewhat.
Did you use a translator?
Sometimes.
Did you use a translator when you delivered babies for Clinica de la Mama at
Objection.
North Fulton Medical Center?
Is she even Hispanic? Does this have anything to do with this litigation?
Do you have an
Come on.
objection? Are you instructing him not to answer that too?
Yeah, I'm going to instruct him not to answer
Okay.
any of this nonsense that has nothing to do with the medical care and never could.
You're refusing to answer that question.
I'm being advised by counsel.
And you're refusing to answer the question. True?
Yes.
On advice of counsel.
Yes.
When you were at Clinica de la Mama from 2000 to 2007, did you ever offer any interpretation services or translation services?
Same objections as made earlier, that it's not relevant to this pending action, nor is it reasonably calculated to lead to the discovery of admissible evidence. It's also investigating claims that have nothing to do with this litigation that plaintiff has not filed, and it's trying to harass and intimidate the witness.
If you want to tell me what it has, whether he speaks Spanish and translates has to do with medical care in this case, I'm happy to listen and maybe change my mind, but,
Instructing him not to answer.
so you don't have a reason?
I'm not going to engage you on the stuff. I don't have to. And
All right,
not,
I'm going to
it's a waste of
instruct
my
him
time.
not to answer, and we'll
Okay.
just get through this as quick as we can and get to the actual facts of this case.
You're refusing to answer that question on advice of counsel?
Yes.
And when you were at Clinica de la Mama, were all of your patients Hispanic?
Objection of form.
Same objection.
Same objections.
You may answer.
You don't have to answer. We'll just go through the whole thing. He just wants to make a record of what he wants to ask, and I'm going to tell you not to, and we'll go over. If you want to stipulate that you would have asked him every question under the sun, I'm happy to say that I would instruct him not to answer on all of this.
You're refusing to answer that question as well?
On advice of counsel.
Okay. Did you use translation services when you delivered babies at Tenet's North Fulton Hospital when you were employed by Clinica de la Mama?
Objection to form.
Same objection.
objections.
I'm being advised by counsel not to answer.
Okay, and
There
you
we go. Now
refuse
we'll
to
just
answer
do
on
it
that
nice and
basis?
quick, and we'll get
Okay.
through it, hopefully.
Yes.
Okay.
And I know you're frustrated with me, so
Yeah, no.
you don't have anything to hide. It just has nothing to do with this law.
Have you been contacted by the Assistant United States Attorney regarding your work at Clinica de la Mama?
Objection
Same
to form.
objection.
Harassing and intimidating the witness.
Now he's going to ask you if you're going to not answer, and you're going to say yes, and we'll keep it going.
Yes.
Okay. And when did you speak to the
No.
assistant?
I was saying yes to what
He
she
hasn't
said.
asked yet if you're refusing.
Oh.
You're refusing to answer?
Based on count.
Okay.
Yes.
Have you been contacted by anyone at the Georgia Attorney General's office?
Same objections.
Same
Harassing and
objection.
intimidating the witness.
I'm being advised not to answer.
Okay, and you're refusing to answer on the advice of counsel?
Yes.
Um, did you study Spanish in school?
Yes.
Objection to form.
Okay. When did you study it?
In high school.
Okay. How many years?
3.
Okay. And that was what? Sophomore, junior, senior?
Yeah, something like that.
How do you say shoulder dystocia in Spanish?
Objection to form.
I'm not sure.
Okay. Do you know how to say repetitive late decelerations in Spanish?
Objection to form. Harassing the witness.
No.
Okay. What about cesarean delivery
Objection
in
to form.
Spanish?
Harassing the witness.
Most of the
Yeah.
patients I understand cesarean.
Okay, you just say cesarean.
Yes.
All right. And have you instructed a patient that didn't speak English on, how to manage her labor outside your presence without an interpreter?
Object to the form. What does this have to do with this case? You do not have to answer any of these questions.
Okay, you're refusing to answer on advice of counsel?
Yes.
Okay. Why did you leave Clinica de la Mama?
Objection to form. Asked and answered.
You can,
Oh.
that's sort of just a background one, so.
I had surgery at the time, and my contract with them was, I think, had run out.
Okay.
But I was having major surgery myself,
Okay, and what type of surgery were you having?
prostate surgery.
I'm sorry?
Prostate.
Prostate. Those issues are resolved?
Yeah.
And you left Clinica de la Mama and went to work with who?
Life cycle.
When you were at Life Cycle, did you ever deliver babies at any hospital other than Tenet South Fulton Medical Center?
Yes.
Okay. In addition to Tenet South Fulton Medical Center, at what other hospitals did you deliver babies?
Southern Regional.
Southern Regional. All right. Any others?
Nope.
Okay, those two.
Because those were closest to our clinics,
Yes,
to
sir.
the actual offices.
And you say clinics, plural. What life cycle clinics were you working in?
They had an office in Riverdale and an office very close to South Fulton.
Okay. And they were both, what was the name of the life cycle clinic in Riverdale?
Life cycle.
Okay. And the one right next to the hospital?
Life
Also
cycle.
life cycle.
Yeah.
All right. And before you went to work with, and you were at Life Cycle from when to when, roughly? 2007 till 2012?
It's more like 2008 to
Okay.
2012. Yes.
Thank you. And you were at Clinica de la Mama from roughly 2000 to 2007, true?
Yes.
And before Clinica de la Mama, which would take us back to about 2000, where were you employed?
Southside Medical Centers.
Southside Medical. Also as an OBGYN?
Yes.
And you were at Southside Medical Center from when to when, as best as you can remember?
I guess 98 or 97 to 2000.
I'm sorry?
97 to just before 2000.
Okay. Roughly 97 to 99 or 2000?
Yeah, just before 2000.
All right. And you left Southside Medical and went to work at South Fulton or Life Cycle because...
Repeat the question, please. I think you...
Yes, thank you. I'm sorry. You left Southside Medical and went to work at Clinica de la Mama in 99, 2000. For what reason?
The CEO of Southside, Dr. Williams, had recommended me to go up there because he thought I could handle the volume.
Okay. And did you have any discussions with him about the volume at Clinica de la Mama?
Objection form.
Not that I recall.
Okay.
Not much that I recall, except there was considerable volume.
And what is considerable volume? What was the volume of Clinica de la Mama?
This line of questions not relevant to any of the pending claims or the pending action, and it's not reasonably calculated to lead to the discovery of admissible evidence. It's attempting to investigate matters that have nothing to do with the subject matter of this litigation.
You may answer.
I don't even remember what the question was or how objectionable it was, but is it background? You want to know what
The
the
question
law...
was how much volume was there?
Object to the form. What, again, seriously, I think you've made quite a clear record what you want to ask about and what we're not going to, but you don't have to answer.
So you're refusing to answer that question on advice of counsel?
Yes.
Okay. And before you went to work at Southside Medical in about 1997, where did you work?
When I worked for some private physicians, and from about 90, I guess it was 96 to 97,
Okay.
before I worked at Southside. I can't tell you their names.
That's fine. If you don't, anytime you don't remember, you can just let me know you don't remember. And before 1996,
I worked at West End Medical Center.
West End? Yes.
Yes, West End Medical Center.
2 words, W-E-S-T-E-N-D?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
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 Thank you. Here in Atlanta?
Yes.
Do you remember the address for that?
It's in the West End area.
That's the name.
Yeah, I can't tell you the exact address.
That's fine, thank you. And before the West End Medical Center?
I was in North Carolina in private practice.
Okay. And North Carolina in private practice from when to when, roughly?
From 85 to 92.
Okay. And do you think you went to West End in roughly 1992?
Yeah.
And there till 96 or 7?
I was there actually only about 2 years.
Okay. You took a little time off between? Or?
No, then I worked at, I left there with another physician, and we worked at Northwest Women's Care. It was
Okay.
a practice he was forming. He was forming.
All right.
That was in Marietta at Kennestone Hospital.
Marietta Keniston.
Yes.
Thank you. And before your private practice in North Carolina in 85?
Residency.
Okay. Where did you complete your residence program?
In Nashville, Tennessee.
Meharry?
Right.
Went to medical school at Meharry Medical School. True.
Mhm. Yes.
Do you have any lawyers other than the lawyers here at, is it Schroeder,
Wheeler, and Flint.
Schroeder, Wheeler, and Flint?
No.
Okay.
Okay. When you say other lawyers
Yes, sir.
concerning this case,
Any case.
Objection form,
Yeah, objection.
harassing.
You don't have to answer about anything except this case.
okay,
So you're refusing to answer that question as well?
based on counsel.
On advice of counsel.
James, are you pulling out the medical records?
Um,
Only because I was going to hand him.
yeah, that's fine.
I don't have to hand him this, but just under my notes.
We'll go ahead and do what we did yesterday. Is this your notebook or?
Well, this is mine, but he can probably compare. We just had him go through and mark to save time, thinking you might do it where he was involved. So I will.
All right,
I was just, if it's okay with you, I was just going to hand it to him so that he can go through
That'd
it
be fine.
quicker.
we'll go ahead and mark as Exhibit 1. The notice of deposition and notice to produce to Dr. Michael Assevero. Thanks. Dr. Assevero, I'll show you what's been marked as plaintiff's Exhibit 1 to your deposition. You ever seen that document before?
Yes, in preparation for this.
Yes, sir. And thank you. And do you have any documents responsive to the notice to produce attached to your?
No.
Okay. And the documents you reviewed in preparation for your deposition today, those are, is that what you've got there?
I have to admit I wasn't part of the prep, so just I'm
Okay.
pretty sure this is what they went over when I was not
All right, so
here. But
we'll mark those as Exhibit 1 or
well, that's what I think. I'm not sure if Michael
Take
might
a-
have written on them, so I was just
take a
gonna.
look and we'll see.
Let's see. I think they're our working copy. Let's see. Do you know if he wrote
Yeah,
on
I'm pretty
them?
sure he didn't write on anything.
Let me just check. There's. It seems to be some writing. I don't think it says anything important, but we just don't want it to become. And like it has our tab.
That's
You know
fine.
what I'm saying?
That's just between the life cycle and the
it's-
South Fulton records. We
Yeah.
left the tabs in yesterday. That's fine.
That's what I think the other tab is that is not his. That's what I understand, but we'll just. I don't think there's a problem with that. Is it, can I, just because I hate to mess up my notebook, can I get you a copy and we can mark that as
Sure.
an exhibit? That way I can just put this,
Whoa, whoa.
oh, I'm still mic'd.
To go off the record.
We just get a quick copy, is that all right?
Okay, yeah. How long will that take?
2 seconds, I think.
Okay.
I don't know,
Thanks.
I'm gonna hand it to somebody.
That'll be
and say,
fine.
We can,
Thanks.
if you have other questions, we can keep asking,
no,
but I
that's-
just,
That's fine. We'll just wait. Yes, thank you.
All right, off the record, 11:54 a.m.
Yes.
We are back on the record at 12:01 p.m.
All right, I'll show you what's been marked as Plaintiff's Exhibit 2 to your deposition, which is entitled a Corporate Integrity Agreement between the Office of Inspector General of the Department of Health and Human Services and Tenet Healthcare Corporation. Have you ever seen that document before?
Nope.
Were you aware that Tenet was under a corporate integrity agreement?
I'm going to object to this entire line of questioning because the issue about the corporate integrity agreement is neither relevant to any of the pending claims or the subject matter of this litigation. It's neither reasonably calculated to lead to the discovery of admissible evidence.
you can go ahead, I think we know you haven't seen it and you don't know anything about it, so go ahead and tell them and maybe that'll go quicker.
What was the question? Could you repeat the
Am I
question?
reading it out? Sure, read it out. Thank you.
I'll show you what's been marked as Plaintiff's Exhibit 2 to your deposition, which is titled Corporate Integrity Agreement between the Office of the Inspector General of the Department of Human Resources and Tenet Healthcare Corporation. Have you ever seen that document before?
No.
Okay. Were you aware that Tenet Healthcare Corporation entered into a corporate integrity agreement with the United States of America?
No.
Same objections.
Okay. That never had any discussions with anyone regarding that?
No.
Show you what's been previously marked as Exhibit 3 to your deposition, which is a letter dated February 1st, 2008, from Juden Adams, to Juden Adams from Lilith White. Do you know?
Can I see that?
Sure.
I haven't seen that.
To Dr. Juden Adams from Lilith White, MD.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know Juden Adams?
Jadon, yes.
Okay, who? I'm sorry, Judon?
Jadon.
Thank you. Who is Judon Adams?
He's a OBGYN in town.
Okay. And he was the chief of OBGYN in 2008 and 2009 at Southfield Medical Center? True? If you
I
don't remember?
don't remember.
Okay. And do you know Lilith White?
Yes.
Okay, and who is Lilith White?
An OBGYN in town.
Yes, sir. And did she ever work with you at Life Cycle?
No.
Okay. Are you familiar with the Complete Women's Group, PC?
Not really. Not really.
Okay.
I'm familiar with her. I don't know what she calls her clinic.
All right. There's a letter to Dr. Adams from Lilith White, and we've marked it as Exhibit 3, and it reads as follows. This letter is to inform you that I am resigning my position of Vice Chief of Obstetrics and Gynecology. One of the reasons for this decision stems from the position bearing primarily clinical, parenthetically, i.e. hands-on instead of administrative, as anticipated, and has involved you physically responding to medical and obstetrical emergencies because of someone else's negligence several times in the last 4 months, just because you're the chief of the department. I don't plan to do this and expose myself to the unnecessary liability involved, just as I'm sure you had no anticipation of doing this either. Paragraph. Nevertheless, because a hospital has not found a viable solution for this dilemma that occurred when their previous arrangements with Life Cycle OBGYN dissipated, and instead just let it fall on you to remedy, I choose not to be a part of this chaos. Because you discontinued your obstetric privileges, I assume it will be anticipated that I now step in the gap of this unnecessary liability exposure that has been festering because the hospital has yet to resolve this issue. Therefore, as of February 1, 2008, I'm resigning my position of Vice Chief of Obstetrics and Gynecology. Sincerely, Lilith White, MD.
And what is the date on that? Sorry, I didn't.
February 2008. Have you ever seen that document before?
No.
Oh, when Dr. White refers to the hospital, Southfield Medical Center, not having found a viable solution for this dilemma created when their previous arrangements with Life Cycle OBGYN dissipated, do you have any idea what that's about?
None.
Okay. When she refers to choose not to be part of this chaos, any idea what she's talking about there?
No. I believe I started with Life Cycle a few months after
Okay.
that letter anyway.
The portion about unnecessarily liability exposure that has been festering because the hospital has yet to resolve this issue, any idea what that's about?
No.
Okay.
All right.
And James, I don't know how you want to mark this. We can have all of the medical records as
I'll do
A,
it.
and then these are his tabs from when he went over just what pages of the whole PDF.
Well, we're going to mark the copy, right?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
she
but-
was just going to email it, as what I had said.
Um,
Because you can't make a whole copy with the tabs, or else she's going to have to do it page by page because it won't go through the feeder.
okay.
So they said yesterday she just marked the whole, it's a PDF.
Well,
I
I
guess
did
I could
it.
have her print out the PDF. You want me to do that?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, hold
Thank
on,
you.
let's do that. That'll be quicker.
When you get back, we'll just keep going till that's ready.
Go off the record.
No, stay on. Thank you. Thank you.
Bring it in a second.
Okay. Moving right along. I'll show you what's been marked as plaintiff's exhibit number 40, your deposition, which is an article that's about 6 weeks old from June 2nd, 2015, last month, entitled Feds Ramp Up Criminal Investigation of Tenet Healthcare's Metro Atlanta Hospitals. You ever seen that document before?
No.
Have you read that article?
No.
Do you speak with anybody about what's in that article or that article?
No.
Show you what's been previously marked as Exhibit 5, which is a letter to a Miss Brenda Jones from Lee Atkinson. Do you know who Brenda Jones is?
Not offhand.
Okay. This is regarding the resolution of a case between Jaime Interiano versus North Fulton Medical Center, Inc., Clinica de la Mama, Inc., and Michael Assevero. That's you, right? Ever seen that letter before?
No. I haven't.
Okay. Do you remember that case?
Yes.
Okay. And what was that case about?
It was about cord prolapse.
Okay. There was, what, a cord prolapse that led to the death of
Yes.
the fetus? Okay. And what caused the cord prolapse, if you recall?
The membranes ruptured and the cord just came down first.
Okay. And were you there when the membranes ruptured?
No.
Okay. You were called in to deliver the baby after?
Right.
How long after the cord prolapse were you contacted?
Immediately after.
Okay. And how long did it take you to arrive?
Less than, I think, 20 minutes approximately.
And by the time you got there, you were able to deliver the baby?
No.
Okay. Baby had already...
Been delivered by the nurses.
Okay. And the baby, was the baby stillborn?
No.
The baby was alive?
Yes.
Okay. And did you get cord gases in that case?
No. Not that I remember, because
Okay.
they delivered the baby before I got there. So,
And the cord had already been cut? And it
Yeah.
hadn't been clamped in two places so that the cord gases
Right.
could be preserved? Okay. All right. Do you ordinarily, when do you get cord gases?
in instances like that, if you suspect that the baby might not do well,
Okay.
or fetal distress cases severe.
So if there's fetal distress or for whatever reason you suspect there's an issue that may cause the baby not to do well, you would get cord gases, true?
I might, yes.
And to obtain cord gases, you would have to, as you deliver the baby, you have to clamp the cord in two places to preserve the blood in the cord between the clamps, true?
Right.
Send that off to the lab, true?
Yes.
And if you don't do that right away, then you wouldn't be able to tell what was going on as far as pH, base excess, blood, oxygen levels, things like that, true?
Yes.
And they also, those things enable you to treat a baby that's been in distress over the course of labor, true?
After delivery?
Well, yeah, that's you can't get cord gases until the baby's delivered, true?
Right.
And
After the, I'm sorry, go ahead.
oh, that's all right.
No, go
I
ahead.
think we're saying that. Yeah, after the baby's delivered, then you take a portion of the cord, right?
Right.
And until that, you can't get cord gases, right?
Right.
But the reason you get cord gases, well, there are a couple of reasons, but one is to help know what's going on with the baby so that you can treat the issues with the baby, true?
Right.
Okay. And another one is to know what was going on immediately before the baby was delivered, true?
True.
Okay. Show you what's been marked as Exhibit 6, your deposition, which is a physician services agreement between Life Cycle OBGYN LLC and Tenant South Fulton Medical Center.
I object to this entire line of questioning because it's neither relevant to the subject matter of this pending action, nor is it reasonably calculated to lead to the discovery of admissible evidence. This line of questioning is not at issue in this medical malpractice case, and it's intended solely to investigate a potential False Claims Act matter.
Have you ever seen that document before? Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Is everything that was produced?
Not that I recall. I was looking to see if I had signed it. But
Thanks.
So,
What?
while he's looking do that, I think that was what we had talked about. You're also going to get
Yeah, I'm gonna get it.
emailed.
Yeah, I'm going to get it on the, go ahead.
I was just going to say you're going to get emailed, and then the other little packet is contained in there.
All right.
Right,
Well-
like it's duplicative. It also includes those pages.
I'll just mark them and have him identify them.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if he knows. So maybe you should have been listening to what I'm saying.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll take care of it. Thanks. Do you know who James Clements is?
Yes,
Okay, who is James Clements?
he was the CEO of South Fulton.
Okay. And do you know, not sure I can really, is this Ann Seguin's
Yeah,
signature?
Ann
Okay.
Seguin.
And Ann Seguin, she was a part owner of Life Cycle,
Right.
right? You recognize her signature here?
Yeah,
Okay. And Ann Seguin, she owned Life Cycle along with another person, is that right?
yes.
And who was that other person, if you?
I don't know the other person. When I joined Life Cycle, I think it was just Ann. Ann was sole owner.
Okay. Do you recall any discussions regarding an agreement that prohibited physicians in the emergency department at Tenant South Fulton Medical Center from referring patients to outside hospitals?
Objection to form. It's neither relevant to the subject matter of this pending action, nor is it reasonably calculated to lead to the discovery of admissible evidence. This line of questioning is purely intended to harass and intimidate the witness and investigate a False Claims Act claim.
I'll join the objection. You don't have to answer it. I'll
Okay.
ask you if it's on my
Refusing to
advice.
answer the question?
Yes.
On advice of counsel?
All right.
Thank you. All right. All right, now these are, what I'm about to do is mark, can I get another set of these for a moment? Is mark the documents that you brought to the deposition that are responsive to the notice to produce, which your lawyers have been gracious enough to print for us. And I'm going to mark what appears to be the Atlanta Medical Center I'm sorry, yeah. It says Atlanta Medical Center, but these are South Fulton Medical Center records for Samantha Russell. This is Exhibit 7. That's one of the documents you reviewed?
Yes.
Okay. And the other document is the SFMC-FMS, that stands for fetal monitoring strips, from 1001 to 0102. We'll mark that as Exhibit 8, right? Is that right?
Yes.
And there's, sorry. Let me, and those are the fetal monitoring strips for the Samantha Russell, true?
Yes.
And her baby Amari, right?
That's how it's labeled.
Yes, sir. Okay. Let's take one moment so she can get some stickers ready, and then these other two. That's fine. Thank you. Just wait for me. And I can mark them and be white. I do it all the time. Okay. I'll show you what's. Sorry, can you take a moment? Need a minute?
Oh, no, I just was looking through the, you can go.
Is there an
The
issue with-
pagination, I don't think so. I don't,
Looks
whatever,
like-
I thought you said the number that you said seemed little to me. 1 through whatever you said seemed like I can't remember what number.
Yeah,
you
it's
said.
one, for the strips, it's 1 to 102, which I think's about
Oh,
right.
okay. I must have misheard you, and so I thought it was not
Got it.
enough.
And the South Fulton Medical Center records start at SFMC 0001, true,
True.
and they go to 0161, true. And those are all the South Fulton Medical Center records, to your knowledge.
To my knowledge.
I'll show you what is Plaintiff's Exhibit 9, which these are the Life Cycle OBGYN LLC and Life Cycle Pediatrics LLC records for the same Samantha Russell and Amari. True.
Yes.
And Exhibit 10, these are some. These are, well, it looks like laboratory results and some of your notes. The surgical brief post-op note. This is also included in the South Fulton. Oh, these are just additional.
No, that's what I was going to say. From that entire stack,
Okay.
he went through ahead of time and put tabs on pages that were his
Okay.
care. And that's them. So it's from
Got it.
all of those exhibits, but
Save
these
us
are
a
the
lot of
pages.
time.
Yes, save us a
Awesome.
lot of time.
Yeah.
These are all the pages that he
See?
has marked.
Okay.
Aha.
So, Exhibit 10, those are portions of Exhibits 7, 8, and 9 that you either prepared or participated in the preparation of, true?
True.
Okay, and there are no other documents in 7, 8, 9 that you either prepared or participated in the preparation of, true?
True.
Okay,
Now it makes sense, right? Hopefully.
yeah, that's what did he tell you we were doing that yesterday? Just going through?
Yeah, so.
Okay.
And I don't take any credit. Michael
No,
did
that's
that.
fine.
I didn't have anything to do with it. I wasn't here. He's a smart little one, that Michael.
Just a simple man myself. It's not about always smart people all the time. I'm going to also show you a document which we're going to label as Exhibit 11, which is purportedly the audit trails for Samantha Russell. It reads SFMC Samantha Russell QS audit trails 000001 to 000025. You ever seen that document before?
No.
Okay. Oh, no, are the baby's records in there too, or no? Did you know,
You can
Doctor?
go up. He'll know better than I do.
Yeah.
He did it with Michael.
No.
Okay, you didn't review the baby's records?
No.
Okay, because after you deliver the baby, it's someone else's patient, true?
True.
You agree that patient safety comes first, true?
Objection to form.
The answer.
Yes.
Okay.
Argument reptile.
You agree that it's never all right to needlessly endanger a patient, true?
Objection to form. Argumentative and reptile.
You may answer.
Yes.
Okay. That's funny. Do you have any recollection of Samantha Russell other than what's contained in the medical record?
Very little.
Okay. Tell me everything you remember other than what's in the medical record.
Basically, I don't remember very much at all,
Okay.
other than there was a shoulder dystocia.
Okay.
And
I'm sorry.
and I thought at the time of her discharge it was resolving. It was resolving, I believe.
I'm sorry, I missed that last part.
At the time of her discharge, it seemed to be resolving.
Okay. And but the shoulder dystocia you're talking about is on the baby Amari McLemore, is that right?
Yes.
All right. And what led you to believe that his shoulder dystocia was resolving at that time?
As I recollect,
Yes,
which
sir.
is that we saw movement in the arm, and I think we got a report from pediatrics.
Okay. All right. And if you would just have a look at the strips, which I believe we've marked as Exhibit 9. And I went through.
8.
I'm sorry.
8.
8. Exhibit 8. Thank you. Any issues when you go through those strips? In other words, do you see any instances of bradycardia or tachycardia for the baby, or late or repetitive decelerations, any tachysystole with the mom, anything that creates concern that baby may be in fetal distress?
No, there was one area where the variability seemed to be decreased, and we gave the patient oxygen at that time.
Yes, sir. And that brought the baby back to baseline, right?
Right.
And can you point out where that is?
I don't believe that I
Okay.
found exactly where it was when we were looking before. Usually the nurses have it marked. That's why
Okay.
the area, I mean, exactly where she.
Okay.
You can take your time and go through them if you need.
Well, I looked at it before, and that's what, usually they would have it marked where they started oxygen. I believe it's in her records, but it's not on the monitor. So exactly where she started, man, I can't tell.
And would you agree that the baby strip was a Category 1 strip?
Yeah.
Okay. And there weren't any instances of, certainly no instances of a Category 3 strip,
Right.
true?
Objection 4.
Nor any instances of a Category 2 strip, true?
No.
Objection 4.
You agree?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks. In 2009, did you have a mobile telephone?
Yes.
What was a mobile telephone number and carrier?
It was AT&T.
Yes, sir.
I don't recall the number.
Okay.
If it was different from the number that I have now.
And what's the number that you have now?
678-983-9357.
Thank you. And what email did you use in February 2009?
MLA5770 at yahoo.com.
I'm sorry. hold on.
At yahoo.com.
Okay. M as
Yep.
in Mary, L as in Larry, A as in Apple, 5770 at yahoo.com.
Yes.
Okay.
Michael Lawrence Assevero also.
What's that?
I just said, or Michael Lawrence Assevero.
Got it. I mean, I do now. Any other email addresses or mobile phones that
No.
you would have used at that time? Any conversations with anyone regarding this case, other than your lawyer? Or,
Sorry. I'm joking for no reason. You can keep asking.
other than your lawyer here?
Recently?
Yeah, at all?
Well, I mean, after the delivery,
Okay. Who'd you speak with?
immediately after, I don't recall it exactly, but life cycle people as well as the nursery to ascertain that it appeared that the baby was improving.
Okay.
But that was at that time, so I don't remember specifically who I talked to. I'm
Alright.
sure that we talked about the baby's condition.
All right. Anyone else?
No.
Okay. You spoke with Mr. Ken? Moses Ken?
About what?
Anything?
No.
Okay.
Concerning this case?
Concerning this case or any other case?
When did
At
I?
any time?
I mean, I talked to him the last time that we had a deposition,
Okay.
and I talked to him, I spoke with him today.
Okay. Tell me about that conversation.
Today?
Yes, sir?
I asked him how he's doing, and I think I asked him about some of the people at North Fulton.
Okay.
It,
Who at North Fulton did you ask him about?
there were 2 CEOs while I was there.
All right. And what are their names?
I don't recollect the first name, one of them at all, and the other was named John. His first name was John.
Okay. So you ask him about John? That's it?
Yeah, I can't remember his last name.
Okay. What else? Tell me everything else you remember about that conversation today with Moses Ken.
That was it.
Okay, and what about before today?
I talked to him not about that, just when I when I met him at the last at the last deposition.
Okay, and tell me everything you recall about that conversation.
There was nothing that I recall about that conversation. We didn't really talk that much, except I really think was just meeting him for the.
Okay. Anything about any case or lawsuit?
No.
Okay. Anyone else other than Moses Kim and your lawyers here?
Anyone else? What?
Have you spoken with about this case?
No.
Okay. The life cycle address where you worked, was it the one at the hospital or the one in Riverdale or both?
Both.
Okay. Now, you understand that Southfield Medical Center closed its labor and delivery, NICU, and mother-baby, shut down in July 2012, true?
Yes.
What's your understanding about the reason tenant Southfield Medical Center shut down the NICU, the labor and delivery, and the mother-baby units?
Objection to form.
I was leaving it
Yes,
just
sir.
before that, so I'm not entirely sure why. I thought it was because of volume issues, but I'm not sure.
Okay. How did you first learn that tenant Southfield Medical Center was shutting down the labor and delivery, NICU, and mother-baby at tenant Southfield Medical Center?
Objection to form.
There was talk at the hospital before that
Okay. What sort of talk?
that they were getting ready to close down.
Okay. Have you ever had privileges at any other hospital since, I guess, 85, let's see, 95, 2005, in the past 30 years that shut down its NICU, labor and delivery, and mother-baby units at the hospital?
No.
Okay. Have you ever heard of that happening?
No.
Okay. What's your date of birth?
6/8/57.
Do you know Deidre Thomas? Okay.
Yeah, I was just apologizing to the
Oh.
videographer because I just coughed right into his mic.
Do you know Deidre Thomas?
From looking at the records, I think that was the nurse at the time.
Any relationship with her outside of just a work colleague?
No.
Have you spoken with her about this case?
No.
Okay. Do you speak with her about this case when it happened?
Very little do I recall about speaking with her. Where everybody's concerned with there's some issue with the baby. If there's an issue with the baby that's resolving, it usually ends there.
Okay.
But I don't recall a specific conversation with her.
Do you recall anything about the day that Maury McLemore was delivered? Any recollection of that day?
Not specifically.
Okay,
Yeah.
what about generally?
No, not really.
Nothing at all. Right.
I mean, vaguely I recall the delivery,
Okay.
and it was fairly brief, even though it was a shoulder dystocia. Was resolved fairly easily. Baby was delivered in a short time. I found out from the records that was a minute.
Okay.
That's about it.
Tell me everything you recall about the delivery.
I only recall that we had, from the time the head was delivered,
Yes, sir.
and then there was some difficulty with the shoulders. We did McRoberts, and a short time after that, the baby was delivered.
All right. You, what you recall is that the head's delivered true,
Yes,
and you had some difficulty with the shoulders, true?
for a very short time.
A very short.
A relatively short time as far as shoulder dystocia.
Do you remember about how long?
Only from looking at the records that it was brief.
Okay.
A lot of times, in a normal delivery, it might take the same amount of time to deliver the shoulders.
But brief, you mean how long?
Minute or less.
Okay. 1 minute or less, right?
Mhm.
Yes?
Yes.
Thank you. And you used what's called the McRoberts maneuver?
Yes.
too? And will you explain what the McRoberts maneuver is?
It's flexing the hips so that the pelvic opening is a little bit enlarged.
Okay.
And also suprapubic pressures added by the nurse at the same time.
All right. And did that eliminate the dystocia?
Yes.
And you were able to get the shoulder out?
Yes.
Okay. And so dystocia just means a blockage preventing the baby from coming through the birth canal, true?
Yes.
And that's caused by the pubic bone, the pubis, is that right?
Well, it's caused by either a large baby or somewhat smaller pelvis for the size of the baby. So
Okay. Now, and the way you're able to determine whether a baby can make it through the birth canal is something called pelvimetry, true?
Injection of form.
pelvimetry only gives you a idea about the pelvis, not about the baby.
Well, you've got to compare the results of a pelvimetry examination with the size of the baby, particularly the head. True.
Like you don't know the size of the baby, so you're only comparing pelvimetry, and it's very few of us do X-ray pelvimetry, so it's clinical pelvimetry, and you're comparing it with the average size of a pelvis. You're not really comparing it to the baby's head size because you don't have that information.
Okay. And when I looked through the life cycle record, which I think we marked as, was it 9?
Yeah.
I didn't see where you had performed a pelvimetry examination on Samantha Roswell.
On her initial, I don't believe I saw her initially.
Yes, sir.
But whoever did see her initially, I believe they did perform.
Okay. You mind showing me that?
Yeah, there's a. I believe this is it.
You looking at the spot where it says pelvimetry?
Put on your best.
Yeah.
Let's, let me, just for the record, you're looking at life cycle Russell 07. True?
Yes.
Okay.
And
Yes, sir. So you were going to show me,
this is the pelvimetry that someone did. Actually, that I'm not sure whose signature that is,
okay.
but they determined that it was adequate.
Okay. You're looking at, on life cycle Russell 07, items 44 to 48.
Yes.
And item 44, a box is checked, pelvic type. What's that, gynecoid? Is
Yes.
that? And gynecoid means what?
More circular, there's opposed to flat.
Okay. And then the measurements were adequate.
Yes.
I mean, the box is checked adequate, right?
Yes.
Diagonal conjugate reached, and that reads no, is that right? It's checked no.
Yes, it's checked no.
Okay. And
So,
that- I'm
okay,
sorry.
go ahead.
And that means what?
That their fingers didn't reach to the pubic symphysis.
Okay. And then, I
And,
mean,
I'm sorry, to the sacrum. Their,
Okay.
their fingertips didn't reach.
and then it looks like below, is that a 78 centimeters, is that right? Or 7/8? What is that?
I don't know. This is not my handwriting, and I'm not sure whether that's 7, 8, or greater than 8.
Okay.
It looks like it could be greater than 8.
Okay. And
But-
what would that measurement is there to determine
The-
what?
The width between the ischial tuberosities.
And between the tuberosities, you would expect, what would you hope to see to help ensure that you
No.
avoid a shoulder dystocia?
Greater than 8 or 9.
Okay. And then, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Do you think that might be, no way to know what that is, right? Or-
Well, that 7, 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would make most sense if it was, I think, greater than 8,
Okay,
because they're saying that, yeah, greater than 8. That would be my
okay.
7, 8 doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Okay. And then the ischial spines, average, is that right?
Yes,
And the ischial spines are what?
there are the spines on the ischial part of the pubic symphysis.
Mm-hmm. Which indicate what?
Well, if they're normal opposed to protruding, it's gonna be easier for the head and the shoulders to deliver.
Okay.
But I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead. No, you're fine.
No, go ahead.
But what?
No, I wasn't. Go ahead.
Well, okay. And then the tuberous diameter, and that's again 7, 8, or greater than 8 centimeters. Is that right?
I thought that was the one. Yeah, that was the one that we were.
At the very bottom. You see that?
No, I don't.
Yeah, right here. This is number 48.
There was another one other
Yes,
than
sir.
that. I thought that's the one that we were looking at that was marked.
I think there's one
The-
above that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure what I'm not sure what either one of those numbers actually are.
Okay.
I thought this was greater than 8, but I'm not sure what that one. That one looks like it could be, based on this, is greater than 12, 11 or 12.
Okay. All right, anything else? Looks like physical assessment, check and detail abnormal findings below. And we've got some vital signs. Looks like her height and weight is there, is that right?
Yes.
Her height's 5 feet 0 inches,
Hmm.
yes.
Yes.
And 168 pounds, is that right?
Yes.
Is that weight correct, based on your review of the records?
I can only tell you what
Is written,
is
right.
written in the record.
And pre-pregnancy weight, pressures and pulse in there as well.
Right. Correct.
All right. Your privilege has ever been suspended, revoked, diminished in any way?
Only during that issue with the pain clinic.
Okay. And what happened as far as your privileges then, if you remember?
They were revoked.
Okay. Now, was it Southwood Medical Center
Yes.
and Southern Regional?
I would imagine. Right.
Okay. Did you get a letter regarding that?
Not that I know of.
Okay. You just got a telephone call?
No, I was present. I was at the hospital one day.
Okay, and you were called in,
Yeah.
and who was present at that meeting?
No, I wasn't really called in. I was just notified by really surgery, and it was brief.
Do you remember?
I wasn't really officially notified by administration that I recollect.
Okay. Do you remember who did call you?
Nobody called me. I was just I was going through the hospital, and they told me that I think it was somebody in surgery told me I had to empty out my locker.
Okay. And you don't remember who that was?
No.
And that was it.
Yeah,
You
pretty
don't
much.
remember any emails, email correspondence, letters?
No, I imagine I must have gotten a letter afterwards, but I don't remember specifically getting a letter.
Okay. Did you testify in that case, the pain clinic case?
No.
Did you offer to testify?
Yeah, I was offering to go to court.
Okay. And that was in exchange for a dismissal of your charges?
Objection from
Object.
Mr. Rice's testimony.
You may answer.
You can go ahead and answer, but go ahead.
Repeat the question.
I'm not reading that back, please.
And that was in exchange for a dismissal of your charges?
It wasn't in exchange for anything. I was going to court with my lawyer to defend myself.
Yes, sir.
And my lawyer told me that it was over.
Okay.
And,
Wow.
and that was it.
All right. And what was your lawyer's name?
Ronald, oh God, I'm so, Freeman.
Freeman. All right. Thank you. And he's here in Atlanta, right?
Yes.
Have you personally authored any textbooks?
Personally offered any textbooks?
Yes, sir.
To who? Or
Any textbooks?
have I written any?
Yes, sir.
No.
Okay. What about any treatises, chapters in textbooks?
No.
Articles, peer-reviewed articles, non-peer-reviewed articles?
No.
Written anything on shoulder dystocia?
No.
On delivery?
No.
Okay. Hadn't written anything.
No.
All right. How did you first learn about this lawsuit?
This lawsuit?
Yes, sir.
From the lawyers.
Okay, which lawyers?
Lawyers here at this
Here at this?
firm.
Okay. Let's see. Now, you had privileges at Tenet Suffolk Medical Center in the summer of 2012, true?
Which hospital?
Tenet Suffolk Medical Center.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Until the issue with the pain clinic in 2012.
Correct.
And do you remember when your last day there was?
Not exactly.
Do you remember what month?
It was after, I'm pretty sure it was after my birthday.
Okay,
So in
which is?
June 8th.
Okay. So sometime between June 8th and the end of July in 2012. Is that right?
Correct.
Do you remember how often you were delivering babies at Tenet Suffolk Medical Center?
A few times a week.
Okay. Do you remember, I mean, a few times, is that what, 10 or 15 or?
I was on call probably every third or fourth night, so 3 times a week.
Okay. So you delivered babies at Tenet Suffolk Medical Center about 3 times a week, is that right?
Yeah.
And each time, about how many babies did you deliver?
One,
Okay, so you delivered 3 babies a week? That's it?
more or less, itself, yeah.
You ever work with Dr. Carla Booker?
Yes,
You consider her to be truthful?
yes,
You consider her to be a friend?
yes,
Have you spoken with her about any of these cases?
no.
You spoke with her about Tenet South Fulton Medical Center?
No,
Okay.
not since I was at Life Cycle.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, all the doctors talked amongst each other about different stuff at that time.
Yes, sir. Any talk about these cases that we brought?
No.
Okay. Do you remember Dr. Booker leaving Life Cycle?
No, I don't. I don't know that she ever worked for Life Cycle.
Okay. I'm sorry, what did you say?
I don't remember her ever working at Life Cycle.
Okay. Do you remember where she worked?
She worked at Southside at one time, and then she worked at Morehouse.
Do you know where she works now?
Not exactly.
Okay.
I think she's in the north, like she might be at North Side, but I'm not exactly sure.
Okay. Did Dr. Booker ever voice any concerns to you regarding the women's unit at South Fulton Medical Center, and that by women's unit, I mean NICU and labor and delivery and mother baby?
All the doctors voiced some complaints from time to time. I don't remember anything specific.
Okay. Well, rather than specifically, generally, what were the doctors voicing the complaints about the women's services at Tenet South Fulton Medical Center? By women's services, I mean NICU or labor and delivery or mother baby.
I don't recollect any specific complaints, but
Okay.
it's been a long time since I had privileges there. So,
Okay.
but almost at every hospital, doctors voice some complaints.
Okay. And my question wasn't about specific complaints, it was about any complaints, generally or otherwise, regarding Tenet South Fulton Medical Center's women's services unit, which would include a NICU or mother baby or labor and delivery.
Objection from the last answer.
I really don't recall any specific complaints. Most people were satisfied with the NICU.
Okay.
I remember, we had a doctor there whose name I don't recall, but most of us were very comfortable with what was going on there.
Dr. Onasanya?
Yes.
Okay. And what about labor and delivery?
I really can't think of any specific complaints. Just some doctors had more gripes than others. I think talking with Dr. Booker, complaints were not with the unit
Okay.
as such.
Who were the complaints with?
Some complaints about other doctors,
Okay. You remember what other doctors?
not specifically.
What about generally?
I mean, if it's not, I don't remember the details.
And those other doctors that the complaints were about were also credentialed there at Tenet South Fulton Medical
Oh,
Center?
yes.
Okay. Did you ever work with Dr. Fremont at South Fulton Medical Center?
Yes.
Did you recall Dr. Fremont voicing concerns with you about the women's unit at South Fulton Medical Center?
He was chief of the department, so we had discussions. I don't remember specifically, as well as discussions in the meetings, but as far as specific grievances, I don't recall.
Will
Okay.
you
But
let me
those-
know when you're, I'm sorry, when you're at a good point for me to take a quick restroom?
Sure, let's
break?
take it now, it's fine.
We're off the
Take a
record at
5-minute break?
12:57
Okay.
p.m.
Doesn't